Shalom, this is Rabbi Mark Kunis in my Taste of Torah for Parshat Chukat 5781. This week's Torah portion is so puzzling. While it's a short parsha, it contains several subjects, all of them either hard or almost impossible to understand. First we have the law of the Parah Aduma, the red heifer, whose ashes purify those who became impure through contact with the dead, but the Kohen who does the purification himself becomes impure. This is the most famous of what we call a chok, a law that is impossible to understand in the Torah. Then we have the deaths of Moses' siblings, Miriam and Aaron. Death is always hard to understand, even when one lives a long and meaningful life as they did. With the death of Miriam, the people could no longer find water, leading the sages to suggest that it was in her merit that a miraculous well followed the people wherever they went. Even if you want to suggest that Miriam had a special talent for finding water, what follows is so hard to understand. Since they could not find water, the people complained, and then God commanded Moses to speak to a certain rock in front of all the people and bring forth water from it. Now earlier in the Torah, God had commanded Moses to hit a rock and bring forth water. So as you know, Moses hits the rock instead of speaking to it, and water flows out. God then tells Moses that, quote, "Because you didn't believe me to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore you will not bring this congregation into the land I have given them." So let me get this straight. Because Moses hit the rock as he did before instead of speaking to it, he cannot complete his life's mission of bringing his people from Egypt to the promised land. Do you understand that? I admit I'm puzzled. Then we have 3 incidents of anti-Semitism. Hate is rarely logical and impossible to understand. The first was when Moses sends a delegation to the people of Edom, who were cousins to the Jewish people, descendants of Esau, brother of father Jacob, asking permission to pass through their land only on the main road and offering to pay for any water they may use. They were refused and threatened. Then the king of Arad attacked for no reason. And when Moses sent a delegation to Sichon, king of the Amorites, asking to pass through his land, Sichon attacked as well and was resoundingly defeated. All this begs the question, but why? If the Torah is meant to be studied and analyzed, it should be within the reach of human beings to understand. Why this onslaught of laws and events that defy human logic? This Parsha Chukat is teaching us a very basic lesson, and that is, not everything in life is logical, understandable, rational, or given to any sort of human understanding. The ability to accept this difficult and oftentimes humbling conclusion that God loves us and always gives us what we need despite how challenging life can be is a test of faith and belief. My friends, as the COVID-19 pandemic has shown, we are often blindsided by events that are unexpected and sometimes devastating. There is a capricious nature to life that defies explanation or logic. The very nature of life itself is purely that of a chok, something that cannot be explained. We don't understand the severity of Moses' punishment. We can't understand why 6 million Jews were destroyed in the Holocaust. Perhaps Rabbi Yanai in Pirkei Avot says it best, Ein biyadenu. It is not within our power, our hands, lo mishilvat harishayim, to explain the tranquility of the wicked, Aflo miyisuri hatzadikim, nor the suffering of the righteous. We can only accept, but never will we understand these things. This week's Torah reading, Chukat, is the parsha of faith. And faith, understanding that God loves us and is always with us, despite what life throws at us, is the only effective weapon against the mysteries of life that befalls us. Have a great Shabbos.